Yeah, someone post a message. I'll let you know.
Cool, awesome. Thank you.
Who it is. Keep an eye out for them. It's not. They're normally really, really punctual. I don't know where they are.
Are you doing solo today? Okay.
I'm going to see if I can get a
Oh, you want to do that? Okay. Yeah, I saw him, bro. I saw him.
So,
It's Oscar.
right.
Yeah.
What's
Help us level the playing field. Sign the parliamentary petition today to fuel the growth and fund the game.
Coming up, thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Don't miss this scaffold. Okay, help me. We can do dying. Alright, just about got it. Hello, how are you?
Well, good evening and welcome to Kingston Heath Soccer Complex for 5th round Nike Cup action as NPLW outfit Bentleigh Greens welcome lower league Beaumaris Sharks. Beaumaris in their first ever 5th round of the state's domestic women's cup competition, coming here from State League 1 Southeast, and a major opportunity for them on a big stage to take on a team struggling at the bottom of the top tier of Victorian women's football. Thank you for your company on this fairly mild evening, not as cold as perhaps it might have been. And Bentleigh, well, they picked up their first points of the campaign finally over the weekend against Boroondara, their first win as well, that 1-0 success, and now hoping to build on that in the cup this evening as they make their first foray down the left flank. Bowie numbers scrambling back as they look to avoid the early concession and do indeed eventually bring an end to that charge from Kira Myers. There's some fairly interesting team news to bring you from a Bentleigh perspective. There was a little bit of confusion as to the Beaumaris starting 11, but that will certainly become clear as this first half progresses. But for Bentleigh Greens, well, the player on the ball there, Belinda Stojcevski, she's the one inclusion from Friday night's win against Boroondara, as we see the first shot taken and ultimately rolling wide of Maria Arthur's post. But Belinda Stojcevski is into the 11, and she's taken the place of Melissa Barbieri, of course, the legendary goalkeeper who injured a hamstring on Friday night. And as a result of that, Steve Kremidis is forced to, well, get creative, and he's playing an outfielder, Christina Souza, in goal this evening. So Bentleigh with an unorthodox approach to this cup tie, but they'll be hoping that their control of the game will provide enough protection for Souza at the back. And they've started fairly strong in the opening couple of minutes, the Greens. Ball one back here, though, for Beaumaris as Vela looks to send the ball in behind. There was a first involvement from Souza, quick off her line. Of course, very adept at playing with her feet as a regular outfielder is Christina Souza. Here's Candy Ferreira-Bass on the turn, the player with the armband for Bentleigh Greens, the scorer of their goal against Boroondara. Running through the rest of that Bentleigh lineup. Number 2 is Felicity Georgopoulos. Number 3, Savannah Oxley. 6 is Emma Rovers. 10, Candy Ferreira-Bass. 11, Kira Myers. 12, Mia Otero. 13, Belinda Stojcevski. 14, Yuka Sato. 15 is Kate Dunn. And 17 is Karina Tolios. Decent first touch there from Erica Vela, looking to skip past her opponent in Dunn, but ultimately the ball did run out of play. So Vela, you see there, closest to the ball here for Beaumaris. Looking as if Annabelle Sakurai is occupying that central striker position behind her, Casey Aarons. On this left flank as well, Amelia Pearson. That defensive work there provided by Izzy Dimos. There's a look here for Bentleigh to get in behind again, but once more Beaumaris well positioned to get the ball away. Running through that Beaumaris 11 in goal is number 1, Maria Arthurs. Number 3 is Nikki Galanos. Number 4, Izzy Dimos. Number 8, Erica Vela. 10, Casey Aarons. 14, Sienna Salisbury. 21, Rachel Mason. 23, Evgenia Avram. Number 25 is Amelia Pearson. 77, Annabelle Sakurai. And 99 is Ruby Mason. So a big opportunity for a number of the players in the Beaumaris starting 11 to make their mark at an unprecedented level for some of the individuals on the pitch. This match, of course, a wonderful showcase of Southeast football. Bentleigh, of course, merging with Bayside United a couple seasons back. As there's a chance here for the cross inside, hoping for Ferreira-Bass. It was cleared slightly by Dimos, and then outside the box, the speculative attempt is fired in by Oxley. But very happy to watch that wide of a post is Maria Arthurs. So once again, Bentleigh winning the ball back high up the pitch. Ferreira Bass takes a couple of touches to try and skip clear. There are shouts of handball coming from the Beaumaris players and the dugout. And eventually the ball is out for a Bentleigh throw-in. Beaumaris 6 games into their league campaign in State League 1 South East. They've had a reasonable start to their season. 3 wins from their first 5 games. They did, though, suffer their second loss of the season over the weekend. So not exactly ideal preparation for this game. Have gotten here Beaumaris with a number of really impressive wins. They're still yet to concede in their Nike Cup run, which has included 3 wins in the second, third and fourth rounds. Of course, none of their opposition quite of the calibre that they will be anticipating from Bentleigh tonight. Bentleigh looking centrally with Georgopoulos. Then on the turn was Oxley. Bit unusual to see the number 2 and 3 shirts fairway advanced up the pitch. Here is Yuka Sato looking to manufacture some space. Uses Georgopoulos, who goes with the cross. Ferreira Bass might get there to keep the ball in play, and indeed she does. Thought about going to Kira Myers and is harangued out of play, and that is again a good piece of defending from Bowie. So in those first 3 cup games for tonight's visitors, 19 goals scored and 0 conceded. Most recently, that 1-0 win against Westside Strikers Caroline Springs in the last round. Before that, a 4-0 win against Croydon City, a team in their division. So that was one of their better performances of the campaign, and kicked things off with a commanding display against Castlemaine Goldfields. Ball looped forward in the hopes that Sakurai could latch onto it, but wasn't to be for Bowie. That one well read by Dimos. The player with the armband for Beaumaris in the distinctive headband. Sato now for Bentleigh. Once again uses Ferreira Bass. And once again the Beaumaris numbers converge and send the ball away. So it's been a solid first 8 minutes from the visitors. Playing multiple divisions up this evening. And with a golden opportunity to extend this club record run even further in the Nike Cup. Touch from Ferreira Bass, unable to take control. So Avram happy to take the opportunity to boot it out and into touch. Bentleigh arriving at this stage of the competition in a much more straightforward fashion as beneficiaries of their top tier status. An 8-0 win against Seaford United a few weeks ago now was what they needed to reach this 5th round. One back there by Pearson. Clearance only as far as Stojevski, but falls favourably into the path of Aarons. Only for a second, though, as Yuka Sato wins back the ball. Here is Yuka Sato. Pulls the trigger from a long way out, and that wasn't too far away from inside Maria Arthur's left post. But the Beaumaris goalkeeper grateful to see the ball ultimately flying wide. more direct approach taken this time around, but the ball in floated too high by Mia Otero. But for Beaumaris, it means they'll cross the 10-minute mark with their clean sheet still intact. Of course, on nights like this, I'll try that again, on nights like this rather, when you're the lower league team, you're very much knowing that the further you can get into this game, still level, the more the tension will build for the opposition and maybe the more desperation that will come into Bentleigh's play. The Greens will be hoping that it doesn't get to that point and that they're able to navigate their way through this contest smoothly. That one was effectively worked by Beaumaris, and there's a chance here for the ball to be sent in behind. It asked too much of Erica Vela. Nonetheless, a good sign, which receives a warm round of applause from the Bowie bench. Head coach Ryan O'Keefe leading the congratulations each time his team puts together a nice bit of defensive play, as we've seen plenty of in the opening 11 minutes of this one. Ball sent forward by Candelas, who continued her run, but ultimately Bentleigh opted for the more patient approach. Nice turn from Otero, and the ball through is good as well. Oxley was trying to latch onto it, but off her line, and clearing was Maria Arthurs. Well, there's a real good energy around this Bowie team. Might be able to hear the rapturous applause each time Beaumaris stifle a Bentleigh Green surge forward. Greens continuing to probe. This time stepping forward was Otero again, one of the mid-season American recruits from Florida Tech. But now her team will have to do some defending as Erica Vela charges forward. Doesn't get maybe as far as she'd hoped. Once again, Beaumaris there, disrupting Bentleigh to great effect, really. Bentleigh, who, as mentioned, have recruited heavily in the mid-season window. Not just from the A-League, but from overseas as well. A number of American players brought in. Seeing Kate Dunn there, who was signed from Colorado State University. Here's Yuka Sato, a seasoned NPL Victoria player. Indeed, that pass sent out wide before from Emma Robers, one of the A-League recruits for Bentleigh Greens, and potentially part of a very exciting storyline this evening. On the bench for Beaumaris is Elizabeth Robers, the younger sister of Emma. So may well see both Robers on the pitch tonight, if indeed Elizabeth is introduced in the second half perhaps. Tolios, it's a lovely ball in behind for Oxley. Now Oxley shifts the ball onto her left. Uses Sato. It was arriving late, but the blue shirts are in the path once more. Baylor wasn't able to get clear there, but happy to allow Amelia Pearson to take the throw in. It's a nice little run from Pearson, which comes to an abrupt end as the pass was the wrong way for Annabelle Sakurai. Really strong competing from Avram, and the Beaumaris bench were hoping for some reward, which wasn't forthcoming from the referee. There's plenty of space out on this right flank, which is where the ball eventually does come. Karina Tolios stands up the ball, meets the head of Ferreira Bass. It's an attempt that may well go down as having been on target, but that one never likely to trouble Maria Arthurs, who very comfortably makes the claim. And the good news for Bentleigh is that we're over 15 minutes into this game, and really it's just been that one goalkeeping intervention that's been required of Christina Souza. Racing off her line to make the clearance. Might be called into action again here. And this one she's happy to take control of with her feet again. So haven't seen the Bentleigh goalkeeper required to use her hands yet. It's very much business as usual for Souza between the sticks for Bentleigh. This is cleverly worked. Chance for the ball out wide from Otero. The offside flag will curtail the Bentleigh attack. Beaumaris in their 2-1 defeat at the weekend against Knox City were the beneficiaries of an Olivia Woolacott goal. Olivia Woolacott, who of course started the campaign here at Bentleigh, but we'll have a crack a little bit lower down the Victorian football pyramid for the remainder of the campaign, and already on the score sheet, but of course unable to feature tonight as she is cup tied, in fact scored for Bentleigh in their previous round against Seaford United. So unable to feature for Beaumaris against the club that she represented just a few weeks ago. Here's one of the A-League recruits in Kira Myers, brought in from Melbourne City. Someone with experience in this competition, Kira Myers. Yuka Sato makes the run out to the right flank. Pearson closing down the space, but Sato continues to work. This is some nice quick passing from the Greens. The challenge comes in, and it was more than clean enough for the referee's liking. So really well managed by Sienna Salisbury, bringing a crunching end to another Bentleigh attack. Yuka Sato. Now Myers hoping to get onto this one, but beating her to it was Salisbury again. Sienna Salisbury, one of a number of the players in this Beaumaris team to have a connection to Bentleigh or their former iteration of Bayside. Sato. Once again in space on the right flank. Ball inside. It's awkward for the goalkeeper. Lofted over her head. Oh, somehow it's gone wide. Well, an extraordinary moment at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. Izzy Dimos miscuing with the clearing ball. Lofted it over a goalkeeper, Maria Arthurs. It looked destined for the back of the net, but the side spin on the ball sees it ultimately roll harmlessly behind goal. So an awkward moment for Beaumaris, but they survive again. They've made it now 20 minutes into this game and looking more than a match for their hosts this evening. That probably as close as Bentleigh have come. And for all the possession and attacking that they've been doing, the Greens, yet to really draw a meaningful save from Maria Arthurs. Hoping to change that here is Myers, who made some space and then aimed towards that top left corner, but the strike has too much height on it. As mentioned earlier in the game, this is a first ever fifth round appearance for Beaumaris in the domestic cup competition. They did make the fourth round back in 2024, so a couple seasons ago. That didn't end in a particularly flattering manner, an 8-0 defeat to Casey Comets. So they've, of course, benefited from a favourable draw, the Sharks, this season, but they've taken full advantage of it in storming through to the fifth round. And as we've seen in the first quarter of this game, or at least quarter of the 90, they've got plenty of defensive credentials. Almost a heart and mouth moment there for Emma Rovers, but covering her was her central defensive partner in Kate Dunn. Ferreira Bass now goes the cross towards Myers. It was a beautiful delivery. Myers just unable to trap the ball. And then that touch taking the ball wide and out for a Bowie throw. So seeing some of the attacking potential that Bentleigh possess. Of course, this is a cup competition, so if Beaumaris are able to get to the end of the 90 minutes still level with Bentleigh, then we will play a half-hour period of extra time before heading to penalties if necessary. Bentleigh will be, well, certainly how Steve Cremidas will have drawn it up will mean the game is sorted long before then. But as we see another Bentleigh attack flail, it's going to be anything but straightforward for the Greens this evening. We have played the majority of fifth round ties, just the 3 to come over the next week. Starting tonight here at Kingston Heath before Keilor Park welcomes South Melbourne in a couple nights' time. And then on the weekend, with no league action in the NPLW, Melbourne City hosting Box Hill United to confirm the remainder of the teams to progress to the 6th round of the competition. What will be the quarterfinals stage. A little bit of danger for Bowie at the back as the clearing ball just evades the green shirt. Most of the big hitters, of course, still in the Nike Cups. They set up for a really tantalising quarter-final stage. Great opportunity for Beaumaris to play another top-flight club, and they'll make even more history if they would pull off the upset this evening. Have already seen a cup set at this stage of the Nike Cup, with Clifton Hill dumping out Preston Lions at BT Connor Reserve. A couple of cracking fixtures as well. Eltham forcing the Royals all the way to extra time before the NPL League leaders eventually getting over the line, whilst Caroline Springs, George Cross and Heidelberg United playing out a 10-goal thriller, which the Burgers came out on top of. When you look at the 5 teams through to the next round, Essendon Royals, Bulleen Lions, Heidelberg United, Alamein, and then Clifton Hill, it is a star-studded quarter-final lineup already. Plus the wonderful narrative of a second-tier side already there as well. Beaumaris now the last chance to be a team not in the NPL to reach the quarterfinals this season. And they're, of course, coming from an even lower base than the VPL, where Clifton Hill are. Playing in the State League 1 Southeast competition. Here's Ferreira Bass for Bentleigh. Fires the shot at goal, and well, that was awkward for Maria Arthurs, but the goalkeeper did fantastically well to diverge it away from the target. Just enough on it to send it away. There is a healthy congregation of Beaumaris friends and family gathered behind the Beaumaris dugout on the far side of the pitch, the opposite of the camera side. Now Bentleigh preparing a corner delivery, which Savannah Oxley will send in. It's an out-swinging ball to the far post. The header in. Oh, it's just wide of the post. Looks for sure like Bentleigh were going to open the scoring with that one. But agonisingly off target. It was well hit, good contact. Maria Arthurs was nowhere near it. But Beaumaris, they survive again, and they continue to creep towards, well, half-time's coming into view as we near the half-hour mark at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. That headed effort from Candy Ferreira Bass, coming desperately close to giving her side the lead. Maybe a little look in for Beaumaris here. The touch there from Avram, just not able to find a teammate. Beaumaris will know that if they're able to get a clean look at goal, there is the potential for a real vulnerability for Bentleigh, having to play an outfielder and goal as they are. That ball over the top though, sets away Myers. He does well to keep the ball in play, has a couple of teammates in the middle, Kira Myers. Tees it up to the edge of the area. Well, there was Emma Robers, who got right underneath that one. And it's well over the crossbar and behind for another goal kick. can hear the vociferous consternation from the Beaumaris faithful doing their best to urge on their team. They've done a fabulous job in the first half an hour of this one. Bentleigh picking up that win over Boroondara. They've still got a long way to go in the second half of the NPL campaign. Still the 4 points behind Melbourne City in second last and full 13 behind Keilor Park, who currently occupy 12th. So a massive gap for Bentleigh to bridge. It doesn't look particularly likely. From the Greens' perspective, well, you really feel like they need to get the win tonight to make it a couple in a row, get some good feeling going through the club that they won't have had for a long, long time. Has been a trying first few campaigns for the Bentleigh Greens in NPLW football. As that ball through will be happily watched behind by Salisbury, and Beaumaris will be in no rush to restart the play. A little bit there of conversation between some of the Bentleigh players. Karina Tolios expecting maybe a run to be made that wasn't forthcoming from Kira Myers. Kira Myers, another of the great southeastern products on the pitch tonight, having played for Southern United, where she really made her first steps at or around this level, for making the switch over to FE Academy, as so many do, and then getting her opportunity at A-League level with Melbourne City. There's a free kick that's been awarded here for Bentleigh that Candy Ferreira-Bass and Felicity Georgopoulos are both eyeing. So a left and right-footed option for the Greens here. It's Ferreira-Bass who takes it, and she went direct. There was plenty of power in the strike, but a lack of accuracy. Bentleigh Greens, unsurprisingly, the team with the worst statistics in the top flight of Victorian women's football this season. Scored just the 13 goals in their 16 league games thus far, as well as having let in 67 goals. So going at a rate of over 4 a game at the moment. Not too much of a surprise when you consider they've conceded 8 goals once and 7 on 2 other occasions. I'll certainly be hoping that those kinds of scorelines are behind them this season with their mid-season reinforcements. Beaumaris, meanwhile, they failed to score in their first couple league games this campaign, but have started to put things together a bit better since then. 11 goals scored in their next 4. Plus, of course, you consider the very healthy scoring record they have in this competition, the 19 across the 3 games, so certainly capable of troubling the opposition goalkeeper. As of yet, though, Christina Sousa's had a fairly straightforward night. Bentleigh again sending the ball forward. Could fall favourably for the Greens. Once again, Arthur's there to get in a valuable toe poke. And indeed, the last touch coming off Oxley, so Beaumaris will regain possession again. Bentleigh have leaned heavily on their captain, Candy Ferreira-Bass, for goals this season. Far and away their leading scorer with 5 in league competition, as well as a couple of the 8 goals that Bentleigh scored in their only previous cup game this season. That ball shot through, but into the feet of Emma Robers in the end, who's occupying that central defensive position this evening, a little bit deeper than she's played large portions of her football. Now ball over the top sets a task for Otero. A little bit of frustration from Mia Otero, cannoning the ball into the advertising boards. Otero alongside Savannah Oxley, joining the club from Florida Tech University, where they did win a national title. Part of the uptick in Bentleigh's form over the last week. Here's Tolios. Out to the right is her teammate Myers. Fakes with the right and instead goes left-footed. Now back out to the right. Kira Myers, that's a wonderful move to the back post. Finish, though, wasn't there. Really well constructed by Kira Myers, showing some of her technical prowess. And arriving at the far post was Oxley, but not able to direct it on target. So rinse and repeat for Beaumaris. Under 10 minutes now remaining in the opening 45 minutes. Will be towards the end of, well, you'd imagine the first and the second half, that if Beaumaris have still kept Bentleigh goalless, it'll get more and more tense as the half progresses. Here's Tolios from a long way out, and that one never likely to trouble Arthurs. Of course, for a half of football where you spent almost the entire of the play defending and out of possession, trying to close down passing lanes and make the right interception or tackle, can be wearying both physically and mentally. So important that Beaumaris spend a little bit of time in the Bentleigh half, as they're doing at the moment, just to provide some respite for their defensive line. Particularly late in the first half, when, well, a lapse in concentration could be most likely to happen. Almost a look in there, but ultimately not forthcoming for Sakurai as Bentleigh look to spring forward on the counter. You can see Beaumaris keeping plenty of numbers back, not willing to risk conceding in order to score. At least not at this stage of the game. You wonder whether, if the scoreline remains as it is in the second half, whether they'll be a little bit more ambitious going forward, or just happy to drag this out as long as necessary. Maybe take a 0-0 all the way to penalties. They've got a long way to go if they want to get there. Ruby Mason sees that ball out for a Greens throw. See there on that far side, Ryan O'Keefe dishing out his instructions, the Bowie head coach. Appointed ahead of this campaign, having most recently been in charge at Croydon City. Here's Sato. Looks to play it centrally, but doesn't get past Galanos. Now charging forward is Vela. Skips past one, has Tolios for company, and the fullback used her body wisely. 5 minutes remain in the first 45 of this one. 5 minutes for Bentleigh to finally overcome the Beaumaris resistance. Crossing from Ferreira Bass. Reading it best was Galanos. Looks as if the final call is for a Beaumaris goal kick, but in the aftermath, the challenge, as I believe, left Nicky Galanos a little bit worse for wear. So we'll have a pause in this game as Galanos is checked over, and well, hopefully it's nothing that will force anyone out of the game this evening. It does provide some respite for Beaumaris, who take the opportunity to head for some hydration at the dugout. Whilst Bentleigh, well, they have their Congress in the centre circle, trying to devise a way through this fairly rigid Beaumaris backline. Well, the good news is Nicky Galanos is back to her feet and walking around the corner post of her own accord, so it looks as if that won't be anything to force the Bowie defender out of this game. Galanos, a player who has been involved in a couple of NPL systems, played at South Melbourne and Box Hill, as well as Clifton Hill, and has a reasonable pedigree in futsal as well, Nicky Galanos. But hopefully, and looking as if it's likely to be the case, she'll be able to continue this one and see out the final couple of minutes of the first half for Bowie. A little bit of confusion as to the nature of the restart. In the end, it's all worked out, and Beaumaris will hoof this one upfield. So just 60 seconds now remain in the first 45. We'll presumably get at least a couple minutes of stoppage time, so still ample opportunity for the Greens. That ball into the path of Myers. Combination though, Salisbury and Pearson work it out and send it behind for another corner. Nicky Galanos now invited back onto the pitch by the referee to restore Beaumaris to their full complement of 11 to defend this corner. Delivery sent in. Once again, it's Ferreira Bass with the header. Chad still alive and thundered home. It looks as if it was Kate Dunn who was there, and from close range, rocketed it past Maria Arthurs and Bentleigh Greens, right on the cusp of half-time. Finally, they break the Beaumaris resistance. Well, it's those second phases from set pieces that can be so difficult. Dealt with the initial header from Ferreira Bass, which was in a fairly uncomfortable position. But confirmation that it was Kate Dunn who was there to send home the ball and into the back of the net. So an unlikely source of the opening goal for the Greens, but they have it nonetheless. That goal, Kate Dunn's first in Bentleigh Green's colours. And it's just released a little bit of the tension that was building here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. Chance here maybe for a second if Otero was able to get there. It wouldn't have counted in any case with the offside flag up. And that will be half-time. So Kate Dunn's goal just before the break means Bentleigh Greens will head into the sheds with their 1-0 advantage, for which they were searching for really the entirety of the first half. They've got an outfielder in goal in Christina Souza, but she's been more or less an observer in this game thus far. Beaumaris defended staunchly and did really well. A little bit of a heartbreaker to go down 1-0 just before the break. Really the last good look at goal that Bentleigh got. But it means that we've got, well, a peculiar second half to come our way. Bowie will be forced to play a little bit more adventurous. And Bentleigh now with something to defend. So we'll see how both coaches decide to approach their halftime team talks and how the game looks into the second 45. At the halftime break, though, at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex, Bentleigh lead 1-0. Welcome back to Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. Second half underway in this third last, fifth round Nike Cup tie between NPLW outfit Bentleigh Greens and State League 1 Southeast opponents Beaumaris Soccer Club. It's the Greens who have the lead heading into the second 45. They had to toil for really that entire first half before finally breaking the Beaumaris resistance thanks to a cleverly finished goal from Kate Dunn following a corner routine. So we will wait and see how this second 45 pans out, whether there's a more ambitious approach adopted by Beaumaris. They do, of course, now need a goal to at least send us to extra time. Whilst it's an awkward one for Bentleigh, they'll perhaps back themselves to continue to control the game as they did in that first 45, but we'll have to deal with maybe a slightly more aggressive opponent now in hunt of an equalising goal, the Sharks. Bentleigh, of course, also on the hunt for what would be back-to-back wins across League and Cup football, something that they certainly haven't done before this season. And just early on, we'll have a brief stoppage in play here as a ball was cannoned into a Bentleigh Green head. And, well, what looks to be Kate Dunn, the scorer of the goal, is back to her feet and resumes her position in the heart of defence. So play is able to resume with the Beaumaris free kick. And we saw the header from Yuka Sato, who was effective as ever in the midfield in that first half. Really popped up all over the pitch, did Yuka Sato, in a number of wide areas too. That attempted clearing ball from Izzy Dimos doesn't get too far, so the throw-in will be taken perhaps by Ruby Mason. Ball slid through for Otero. Otero makes some space onto her right and sends the ball centrally before it's cleared high into the night sky. Awkward one to deal with for Sakurai. But in the end, Beaumaris do come away with the throw. That attempted ball sent forward by Casey Aarons didn't quite pan out as she had drawn up in her mind, so Bentleigh will take the throw-in, but we're seeing already, I think, a little bit more of an attacking intent from Bowie when they do get the ball back. The challenge is, of course, getting the ball because Bentleigh have controlled so much of the general play. Dunn looks central to Candy Ferreira-Bass, who was heavily involved in most every Greens attack in that first 45. Bentleigh, of course, don't have a league game to worry about this coming weekend, so the avoidance of extra time, not so much a matter of preserving themselves for league football in a couple of days, considering that there is no league action in the top flight this coming weekend. Bentleigh's next game not till next Friday, when they'll head to Springside Recreation Reserve to take on Spring Hills before a series of 3 games in a row here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. So they'll certainly be hoping to build on the momentum of their win last Friday here against Burundara. But will no doubt still be seeking to avoid any extra time period just to well, avoid the tension and the heightened threat of a cup set if we do indeed end up at that point. And now, though, the Greens managing the first 5 minutes of this second 45 fairly professionally. And ball up to Ferreira Bass. Sakurai looks centrally. Clever exchange of passing, but no end product for Beaumaris as the ball is intercepted by Stojcevski. Now Otero looks central to Georgopoulos. There is Tolios, who, as ever, loving to get forward into the attacking third. Otero's first touch is decent, made a little bit of space and thought about pulling the trigger. Instead retreats back before the ball eventually is sent towards goal, but it's a straightforward claim for Maria Arthurs, former Hampton East Brighton goalkeeper. Sends the long goal kick up forward, and, well, it's worked out in the end for Beaumaris as they quickly regain possession. Sato getting in the way of Ruby Mason's pass. Now Otero central once more to Oxley, and Stojcevski retreats to Dunn. Of course, a second goal for the Greens would go a long way to alleviating any lingering tension that they might feel. I'm sure Steve Kremidas would very much appreciate doubling the advantage just to make things nigh on certain. You'd imagine Beaumaris, the odds of them scoring two feeling remote at best. Stojcevski's throw forward, flicking off the boot of Mason, and Bentleigh have themselves the first corner of this second half. Well, the option for the short pass was provided there by Otero. Ignored, sent into the box. Ferreira Bass the target once more. Salisbury attempts the clearance. Eventually it's hacked clear. Sato. Attempt to turn into space from Robers, doesn't get far. Well, attempting to spring forward on the break was Erica Vela, but well defended by Dunn. And now that one sent out and into touch by Izzy Dimos. Aarons was there hoping to turn, but Yuka Sato stealing in. Took the shot from a long way out and didn't beat the defender in front of her. Now Aarons just goes for distance, looking to make life awkward. Sakurai bearing down. And so it wasn't the most comfortable defensive act to deal with for Kate Dunn, but a player of her quality able to do enough with the ball and send it away from the danger zone. Mason's throw in, a rare bit of territory deep in the Bentleigh half for Beaumaris. And Mason will sneak another couple of metres just to head towards the penalty area. Sakurai was there, but her touch just saw the ball get away from her. As ever, the risk for Beaumaris as they're forced to go in search of this equalising goal, that they push more bodies forward and expose themselves to Bentleigh counter-attacks. Wasn't really a feature at all of the first 45. Bentleigh with so much of the possession in the territory that, well, they didn't really get the chance to counter-attack. Ferreira Bass teeing up Otero, and Otero's, I'm not sure if that was more a shot or a pass, but Kieran Myers got closest to it, and in the end Maria Arthur's doing enough to see the ball out and behind for a goal kick. Ferreira Bass. Crunching tackle comes in, and effectively from Dimos. They're continuing to defend staunchly Beaumaris. Bentleigh finding clear-cut opportunities hard to come by. Question, of course, remains whether the Sharks can translate that into some attacking actions of their own. Fairly physical interaction there between Strojewski and Mason. And the Beaumaris fullback will be happy to send the throw upfield. Baylor with the flick on header. Just about fell into the path of Avram. Sakurai gets the shot away. Well, there's a look from Beaumaris. It's a save from Christina Souza and Ryan O'Keefe. The Beaumaris coach is going ballistic on the sideline with support and encouragement for his team. And you see that section of Beaumaris supporters providing all their voice to each move that works out, even for a short moment for the Sharks. Still the attacking continues, and the visitors have themselves a throw. So this is really the most extensive defending that Bentleigh have had to do for the entire match up to this point. Possibility for a throw to be launched into the penalty area from Amelia Pearson. Pearson, the former Monash Uni player, finds the chest of Sakurai. Just had a couple too many bodies to get away from. Chance perhaps for the Greens counter, but it will only go as far as Dimos. Now Sato, pinching back possession. Into the path of Ferreira Bass. Putting on the afterburners, Candy Ferreira Bass. Right down the throat of Arthurs. Not able to get the curl on the shot she required to test the goalkeeper's movement or diving work. Arthur's very happy to gobble up the attempt. And very quickly, Beaumaris are on the charge again. Here's Vela, showing she's got some pace of her own. And she too fires it right into the feet of Christina Souza. Well, a foul throw has been called there against Mia Otero, who expresses her bemusement to the referee. So an opportunity here for Beaumaris, which Erica Vela will look to take. Makes the space on the right, cross inside, could fall to Sakurai. Now this augurs well for Beaumaris. They're starting to quite regularly trouble the Bentleigh penalty area. Still yet to get a really good look on goal, and well, they'll have to continue defending these moves as Kira Myers looks to escape from Pearson. Still Myers goes and takes the touch from her opponent out for a throw. Cross inside, falls to the feet of Otero, just couldn't get it out from underneath her. The ball came to Yukasado, but the foul was called before then. A little drag back on Dimos, prompting the referee's whistle. That was I think a fairly clear-cut decision to be made. So Beaumaris, well, over an hour now gone in this fifth round cup tie. Still just the one goal separating the two teams. Kate Dunn just before half-time. And clearing ball only as far as Otero. Otero uses Ferreira Bass, and her shot doesn't get too far. So chance here for Savannah Oxley to deliver again. Plenty of green shirts ready to make runs in all sorts of directions you'd imagine. Ball comes in, all the way in. Oh, it's an Olympico at Kingston Heath. And what a moment for Savannah Oxley. Had everyone confused. Maria Arthurs didn't know where the ball was headed, and it nestles inside the back of the net, just inside the far post. And that goal will go a long way to sealing Bentleigh's passage into the quarterfinals of the Nike Cup. Beaumaris quickly respond with a couple of substitutions. It's the end of the evening for Casey Aarons and Annabelle Sakurai. Well, we'll get confirmation of who the two players brought into the game are in just a moment. So it's Amy Billamoria and Michelle Levin, who've both been brought into the game by coach Ryan O'Keefe. That goal for Savannah Oxley, her first for Bentleigh as well, so a couple of mid-season recruits doing work for Bentleigh in the Cup. Oxley and Dunn, the two goal scorers. Well, you'd imagine now Steve Cremidas would be feeling a little bit more comfortable. Bentleigh weathering what was the best period of the game for Beaumaris. That last 10 minutes or so before the second goal. And even if those clear-cut chances still hadn't yet come. I mean, to be fair, they weren't really coming at either end. Well, haven't really come at either end for most of this game. And a couple of set-piece goals for the Greens. Well, they may well end up being what separates the teams and sees Bentleigh through to a Nike Cup quarter-final. So Bentleigh now looking as if they're playing with a little bit more freedom. Tolios's run continued on that right flank by Myers. Eventually it's sent into the penalty area, but Arthurs will claim that one with no fuss. Emma Robers, still no sign of her sister on the pitch. And it looks as if she does get into the game, Elizabeth Robers, the result may well be beyond doubt by that point. We do still have around about half an hour to play, 25 plus any stoppage that's added on. So by the amount of time to be played, there's more than ample opportunity for Beaumaris still to get back into this game. One of the Beaumaris players has taken a seat on that far side of the pitch, so we will just have a momentary pause. Has been a fairly trying evening for Bowie, spending so much of the game out of possession and trying to maintain their defensive discipline. That may well pave the way for a third substitution from the Sharks. Eventually, it's agreed upon that the ball should be returned to Bentleigh Greens. Confirmation as well that Elizabeth Robers has been brought into the game, so both Robers sisters on the pitch. Number 6 for Bentleigh Greens, Emma Robers on the ball here. And number 56 for Bowie. Elizabeth, who did play 27 games for Heidelberg United back in 2019. Played with Emma at Sandringham growing up. So a wonderful success story of Southeast football as well. Here is the scorer of the second goal, Savannah Oxley. Quick exchange with Dunn. And now out in a little bit of space was Otero. Shot fired in quickly there for Rathers to deal with, but the angle always favouring the goalkeeper. Bentleigh now edging towards a quarter-final berth. Their former iteration Bayside have made it that far in the competition before. They did so back in 2022. Reaching the quarterfinals where they played Heidelberg United here at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex, but were on the end of a 5-1 defeat that day. Certainly the furthest that they've progressed, known as Bentleigh in this competition, the Greens. prospects here potentially for Beaumaris. Some more substitutions incoming here for Bowie. As we see the end of the evening for Avram and Dimos. And one of the two remaining substitutions named by Ryan O'Keefe, Layla Watts and Kate Bradley, presumably the two players brought on. Confirmation that Bradley is out there in the middle of the park. Bentleigh Green's also taking the opportunity to make use of their bench. And the Otero's evening has come to an end. Well, as well as another player, I didn't quite catch who the other was, but we'll get confirmation of that in a moment. Lara Smith and Medina Ali have both been substituted in for what Bentleigh will hope are the final 20 minutes. Should mention that if Beaumaris were to sneak a goal, that can, of course, would, of course, cause some tension and uncertainty for the Greens. They're not totally out of it yet, the Sharks. Just maybe one moment of magic to turn the tide of this game. Here's a first involvement for Ali in combination with Sato. A little bit of a sloppy back pass, capitalised on by Layla Watts, one of the recent Beaumaris substitutions. That one central for Mason. Shouts of handball go unheeded. Ferreira Bass now charging down that right flank for eventually turning central to Yuka Sato. Ali, a couple of early touches for her. Georgopoulos goes forward. It's a little bit awkward to deal with from a Beaumaris perspective, but eventually the ball is sent away. And that pass up will roll all the way through to Arthurs. So Beaumaris regain possession once again. Not the most orthodox of dealings there for Felicity Georgopoulos, but eventually Bentleigh do just enough to disrupt the Beaumaris move. Dealing without a fourth official tonight, so a little bit of guesswork in the substitutions games, but from the looks of things, Kira Myers was the player who made way on the right flank for Lara Smith. So Myers and Otero withdrawn for Smith and Ali, who's on the ball now. Medina Ali keeps the ball in play for retreating to Sato. Well, the other thing for Bentleigh is they head towards the 75th minute. That's a nice touch from Ferreira Bass. Has plenty of space to deliver the cross in. Did so, but unable to pick out a teammate, so Yuka Sato might try her luck. Ferreira Bass, eventually with the cross to the back post. Well, did so well in the end to avoid turning that into their own net, Beaumaris, because it was rifled in, and you've seen many like that end up getting the better of defenders, but wasn't to be that time. So another corner to be sent in. This one, well, it's landed on the crossbar, so Maria Arthur's grateful to see that ultimately she wasn't required to do anything to deal with that, but you could see the idea of popping it right on the goalkeeper's head. Here's where a great portion of corner goals come from in the NPLW competition. The ball lofted right on the shot stopper's head. All the bodies crowding around and making life very uncomfortable for a goalkeeper. Yuka Sato sought to keep the ball in play but couldn't get past Levin. Now that pass from Beaumaris. Asking plenty of Pearson, but in the end is only able to concede a throw. Bentleigh will take now this opportunity for another couple of substitutions. Yuka Sato making her way toward the sideline. Belinda Stojcevski too, as well as what looks like Karina Tolios. So Steve Kremidis making full use of his bench. You can see Anastasia Theodosiu's picked up a spot in the middle of the park. Emma Robers has stepped up into central midfield. And that ball almost falling favourably for Medina Ali, but they did enough. The combination of Galanos and Pearson to escape for Bowie. Can see also Chloe Stradling has picked up the position in the centre of defence as Ali continues to probe in an attacking play. And Beaumaris forced into conceding a throw-in. Well, chance here, space on the edge of the area, fired in. Oh, and what a finish it is. Anastasia Theodosiu makes her mark, brought on just a couple of minutes ago, and rifles it into the bottom left corner. There was no stopping it, and Bentleigh have a third. Well, she was afforded too much space. Beaumaris perhaps not appreciating the threat posed by Theodosiu. And you can see she celebrates with the voices of friends on the bench. Well, Anastasia Theodosiu, what a way to make your name with a finish like that. Former Southern United player. Thrown into the action for the final 15-20. And really showing what she's capable of doing. Well, as we creep towards the final 10 minutes of the 90, the result looks to be beyond doubt. Beaumaris have come out and made for a very reasonable account of themselves. Really effectively frustrating the Greens for almost that entire first half. The goal just before the break proving to be, well, the straw that broke the camel's back in that sense, and the second and third have come in this second 45. Candy Ferreira-Bass has just taken a seat there on the deck. She's worked hard as ever the inspirational Bentleigh Greens captain, who's done as much for Southeast football as anyone on the pitch, Candy Ferreira-Bass. Played for Southern United, Casey Comets, as well as, of course, now Bentleigh Greens, as well as a handful of other NPL clubs. Candela Ferreira-Bass, now 30 years of age at the start of this season. Won the gold medal, of course, back in 2017 when playing for Southern United. So has really been a beacon for this part of the state. Well, I'm sure in a sense she'll be grateful that her team hasn't needed her to score again to get the win tonight. She still played an integral part in the Greens' performance and their attacking plays, but ultimately may well be ending without a goal to her name, particularly if she's unable to see out the remainder of this game, but that doesn't look to be the case. Ferreira-Bass readying to be brought back into the game. And well, a yellow card has been flashed in the direction of the Beaumaris dugout. Some good-natured feedback from the Beaumaris stands. They've been haggling our central referee and our officials team all evening, doing their best to support their team in blue this evening, even if the result ultimately won't go their way. It's certainly been a memorable occasion for the Sharks, and something that all those involved will, I think, look back on very fondly, having frustrated an NPL outfit for almost the entire first 45. Suffered a couple of goals late in this half, but well, for the first 10 minutes of the second, looked as dangerous as at any other point in the game, and maybe on another night they might have got a good enough look at goal, able to challenge Christina Souza in between the sticks, but wasn't to be for Bowie this evening. Beaumaris, they'll be back in league action this coming weekend. Sunday afternoon at Dorothy Laver West Reserve, where they'll play Ashburton United for a home game against Croydon City, one of the teams that they, of course, defeated en route to this fifth round berth in the Nike Cup. There's still much to look forward to in their season as they chase promotion. As for the Greens, as mentioned a little bit earlier, their next game coming next Friday night when they'll head out west to take on Spring Hills before 3 straight home games, 3 straight Friday night fixtures against Alamein, Bulleen and Avondale. Far from straightforward assignments, those kinds of games. You have to enjoy how ebulliently the Beaumaris faithful continue to plead their case to the referee. They've got themselves a corner here. Well, Beaumaris, you get the sense that they were to nab a goal here, they just about go home feeling as if they've won tonight. The delivery will come in a number of moments from Rachel Mason. And we're just about every Bowie player getting in or around the penalty area. Mason sends it in. Well, kept in play, so we'll get a second look at it. This time sent with a little bit more depth. It's an awkward one for Levin, who's well beaten by Theodosiu. And maybe now Bentleigh can charge forward for a fourth. Well played out to the right-hand flank where Lara Smith charges. Has both Ferreira-Bass and Darley ahead of her, but even 3-0 down late in this game, the Beaumaris numbers have sprinted back into formation for eventually sending it over the fence and out for a throw. The Greens, they continue to build back-to-back wins. This will make it. Well, more than that, it'll be 3 wins in their last 5 games, albeit a couple of those against lower division opponents in the Cup. But also much more competitive in their league fixtures over the last few weeks as well. 2-1 loss to Heidelberg, 2-0 at Lakeside and 3-1 at Wembley Park. So 2 of the toughest venues to go to, and they've remained competitive for large chunks of that game. Of course, the Box Hill one, they conceded the 3 early goals, and Box Hill maybe decelerating a little bit understandably, and both of South Melbourne goals coming in the first half too. But they're not being run over the top of in the way that they were earlier in the campaign, Bentleigh. So a foundation to build from. So if you go back to that game against Heidelberg, where they were very unlucky to concede the 2 late goals that denied them what looked for a long time as if it was going to be their first points of the season. Don't forget as well, we've still got 2 more 5th round ties to sort out the quarter-final lineup in the Nike Cup. Thursday night at Keilor Park Recreation Reserve. Keilor Park, I'll talk about a team making a big splash in the mid-season window. They've certainly done that. They'll be welcoming South Melbourne, of course, the holders of this competition. That will be anything but a straightforward assignment for Justin Mikoleff's team. And then on Saturday, Melbourne City and Box Hill United going head-to-head at Casey Fields. Box Hill, one of the favourites for this competition, playing a quite splendid football as they do. Bentleigh do have themselves another quarter, so a couple minutes left in the 90. Let's see how our referee approaches stoppage time, if there is a great deal to be played, or whether he'll wrap things up a little bit early. But in any case, for now, Beaumaris have a corner to defend. 4-0 would feel a really harsh scoreline on what's been a valiant defensive display. Bentleigh wouldn't mind a 4th, though. Ball sent in deep, right on the head of Arthurs, who did enough to send it back, and Georgopoulos behind for a goal kick. This result also confirming that there will be just the one non-NPL team in the quarterfinals of the Cup. There was Rovers winning it back, and indeed both Rovers in a close proximity to each other there just for a moment before Emma navigated herself out of a tight spot. But yes, Clifton Hill, the sole lower league representative in the last 8 of the Nike Cup. Very much a draw that features many of the best that MPL has to offer, maybe the one glaring exception. Now we'll go 2 glaring exceptions really in both Burundara and Avondale, both getting unlucky draws. Burundara away to Box Hill and Avondale against Heidelberg. But that has paved the way for a couple of maybe lesser fancied teams to make a deep run, including really the two in front of us this evening. So into second half stoppage time now, very much at the discretion of our referee, but Beaumaris haven't given up hope of snagging a goal. They're coming together there between Chloe Stradling and Layla Watts. The referee not showing a great deal of sympathy to the baying calls from the Beaumaris supporter section. Oxley on the turn. Scored the second goal this evening and certainly the highlight of it with the Olympico, but her pass to Medina Ali is cut out. Stradling up to Ali. And well managed by Michelle Levin. Bow will head back to State League 1 Women's Southeast competition, where they're currently 3 points behind Knox City and 4 behind South Yarra. South Yarra topping the tree at this early stage. Seen with those 3 wins from their first 6, Bowie, they're hoping to be right in the mix for a promotion spot. And really this cup run exceeding expectations. 3 wins in this competition to reach this stage. NPL opposition just proving a bridge too far. Here's Oxley, somehow turned away from 3 opponents in quick succession. Real display of skill on the ball. Now cross field, Stradling is picked out. On the turn, Theodosiu scored that wonderful third of the evening. Now Stradling again. Well, showed plenty of intent with that run before Theodosiu, hoping to double her tally this evening and drawing the save from Maria Arthurs. Our referee takes a look at his watch before deciding that there will be time for the corner to be taken. Maybe Savannah Oxley will be eyeing up 2 Olympico goals in one night. That would certainly make for a memorable evening, as if one weren't enough. Steve Cremidas just instructing Chloe Stradling to get into the area and give herself a chance to nab a goal. This time will be an outswinger from Oxley, delivered towards goal by Smith. It's just wide. That's full time at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. Well, it's been a wonderful celebration of Southeast football this evening. And in the end, it's the NPL outfit who prove a little bit too strong in Bentleigh Greens. 3 goals to none. Kate Dunn opening the scoring just before half-time. Savannah Oxley doubling Bentleigh's lead with an Olympico before Anastasia Theodosiu came off the bench to score a wonderful third, nestling in the bottom left corner. Beaumaris, they were anything but straightforward opponents for the Greens this evening. Proved to be really sturdy at the back and made life uncomfortable for their hosts large periods in this game. But ultimately the Greens escape, even with an outfielder in Christina Souza having taken the gloves to be between the sticks for the game. She was largely untroubled and didn't end up being a huge factor in affairs. In any case, that's all the time that we have from this Tuesday evening at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. Bentleigh Greens will enter the quarterfinals of the Nike Cup, joining the lineup of 5 teams already, with 2 more ties to be played on Thursday night and on Saturday afternoon, all coming your way on the Football Victoria YouTube channel. But that's all the time that we have tonight. I've been Oscar Rutherford. Thank you for your company. Full-time score at Kingston Heath Soccer Complex. Bentleigh Greens 3, Beaumaris 0.